Hello and welcome back to the channel. The manhwa we are going to recap today is about a girl who is secretly a maid of the most powerful student in the academy. So let's begin with our recap. In a warm southern country, the kingdom of Vandem, a black mage appears. She uses her forbidden magic to spread enmity and deception among the people. When a war breaks out, a plague follows. A once beautiful country is completely ruined. That is when 7 mages from the north arrive to rescue the kingdom. With the help of the king, they manage to defeat the black mage and finally restore peace. However, the black mage has already planted a curse within everyone's hearts. Unless that curse is removed, she will one day return. Worried about the curse, the king asks the 7 mages to remain in Vandem and protect the kingdom. The mages agree under one condition. In order to face the devil who may return in the future, they want to raise powerful mages. The kingdom is then declared a magic kingdom, and the prestigious magic school Papalon is established. The admission conditions for Papalon, the most respected magic school on the continent, are extremely strict. Even among descendants of noble magic families, only those with truly exceptional talent are accepted. Being a student at Papalon means being among a privileged few, handpicked for greatness. And of course, not just anyone qualifies. The scene shifts to a classroom where a girl is struggling with an experiment. Lacking the proper skill, her magic causes an explosion. Everyone in the room turns to look at her. The teacher, recognizing her, asks whether she lacks the magical power to properly perform the spell. This girl is Leah, known as the scholarship student who's been failing repeatedly. Nor, this is laughable. As she walks out, a boy nearby snickers. Whispers ripple through the room as people murmur about her. They question how someone like her, with such poor skills, was even allowed into the academy, and comment that she's tarnishing Papalon's reputation. It makes Leah wonder if these people even realize how obvious their contempt has become. Papalon runs a special scholarship system. A small number of commoners who demonstrate strong magical potential are given a chance to enroll. However, the competition for those scholarships is fierce, and in the eyes of many students, there's only one way for someone like Leah to survive in this cold environment: by erasing her presence and acting like a ghost. A new scene begins. A scarecrow is presented as part of a magical defense test. A boy effortlessly defeats it. A voice calls out to him, Shion. He humbly responds to his professor's praise, though others are already admiring him. He's cast a notoriously difficult spell again with ease. Leah watches quietly from the crowd. People around her whisper that Shion is the greatest genius to ever walk Papalon's grounds since its founding. His magic power alone is said to be on an entirely different level. After all, he is the heir to one of the 7 great houses. While there are absolute failures like Leah, there are elites like Shion, blessed with both skill and status. It seems impossible that a celebrity like him would ever cross paths with someone like her. As Leah walks through the corridor, someone calls out to her, "It's Ayla." Ayla starts a casual conversation, mentioning how difficult today's class was. She then invites Leah to a study session at her manor, adding that since she's also invited a mage tutor, it might help Leah learn a few things. Leah hesitates, replying that she already has work to do after school. When Ayla asks if she has other appointments, Leah simply says she's busy with her job. She then walks away, thinking to herself how she's wasted too much time and that she's going to be late. In a rush, she casts a teleportation spell and arrives at a grand mansion, calling out that she's back. A maid inside greets her and scolds her for being late, telling her to hurry. Leah quickly changes into her work clothes. Someone mentions that they've left a cherry pie for her in the kitchen, urging her to eat quickly. Leah lights up with joy at the mention of cherry pie. She dashes toward the kitchen with excitement, only to find Shan sitting at the table, already eating it. "I smell friends to lover trope here." Furious, she yells and curses, demanding to know how he could eat her pie. Shion casually replies that it's first come, first served. Angrily, she pulls out her card, vowing not to let him get away with it this time. Shion warns her not to use magic, but she does anyway. Even the maid yells at them to take their fight outside. The poor, failure scholarship student and the heir of a great house are living under the same roof. This is actually fun, let's go girl. The scene shifts to Leah, who is outside hanging laundry to dry. Someone calls out to her, telling her she can do it later, warning that she'll be late. Leah stretches and heads back inside the manor, thinking to herself that it's really still morning. As she enters the hall, she notices Shan standing there. He tells her to hurry up. She apologizes, and the two of them hold hands and use teleportation magic to head to the academy. However, they don't arrive at the main gate. Instead, they wait in a hidden path until the area is completely empty. Then, pulling Shion out from the bushes, Leah complains. Shion asks her why she always chooses such inconvenient places to teleport to. Leah replies that she can't let others see them coming to school together. Shion questions her again, already knowing the answer. Leah scoffs, saying he should understand by now. Noticing a leaf stuck in her hair, Shion reaches forward, not romantically, but more matter-of-factly, to flick it off to actually make her bald. He asks her to stay still while he removes it. Leah then realizes he has leaves in his hair too. She tries to brush them away, and Shion leans in slightly to help her do it more easily. He asks if she's got it. She blushes for a second and says she did. For a moment, she forgets that they're standing on academy grounds. Leah quickly regains her senses and tells him they should get going. Girl be like, let's snap out of it. Bo for the academy snaps her out of this work, but before they can move, Lee notices someone. A boy with black hair who has seen them together. He doesn't seem particularly interested, just walks away, but Leah's face pales. She immediately panics, thinking they're in trouble. Long ago, the 7 mages who saved Vandem each founded a family under their own name. These 7 mage families have ruled the kingdom alongside the royal family for the last 300 years. Their bloodlines continue, and the descendants still wield exceptional magical power. A professor, while lecturing on this topic, reminds students that they should always respect these legacies as fellow mages. Leah, however, is spiraling in her thoughts. She thinks they're completely screwed. Shion is from one of the great mage families, while she's just a poor scholarship student who grew up working. Shion and Leah were raised like siblings due to their shared childhood, and they've been close friends ever since. But even with that background, both of them are still students of Papalon, where there are no ordinary students. Even the scholarship recipients are mostly from wealthy or influential commoner families. Leah is already known as the failing student of the school. If word spreads that she's been working in the household of a classmate, especially one like Shion, she can kiss her peaceful life goodbye. On top of that, Shion isn't just any student. He's the heir of the Sorn family, the strongest magical bloodline in Vandem, and a key figure in the kingdom's governance. Just imagining the kinds of rumors people could create about them gives her a headache. Besides, Leah has already experienced this once. She once made the mistake of not hiding her relationship with Shion well enough. Annie's, another scholarship student like Leah, had initially bonded with her because of their similarities. They helped each other adjust to life at Papalon. But in the past, Annie's once saw Shion pulling Leah into a hidden corner, asking her about a scratch on her arm and whether she had taken medicine. Leah brushed it off, saying it was nothing and that it would heal once she took something at home. At that time, Leah noticed Annie's watching them. Flustered, she hoped Annie's would understand once told the truth. But Annie's reaction was colder and more hostile than Leah expected. Perhaps the truth was just too hard to accept. That's when Leah truly realized. If she wanted to stay at Papalon peacefully, she had to keep her relationship with Shion a secret, no matter what. Thankfully, Annie's hadn't spread any rumors, and Leah had been cautious ever since. But now she curses herself. Why had she let her guard down? And why did Shion have to touch her hair? Determined, she decides to find the boy who saw them and make sure he keeps his mouth shut. Suddenly, their teacher enters the classroom and announces that he has to introduce a new transfer student. He explains that the newcomer is also a scholarship student and urges everyone to treat him well. The class is shocked. How can there be a transfer student in the middle of the semester? Then the boy steps in, the very same boy who saw Leah and Shion together. Calmly, he introduces himself. His name is June. The next day, the students are standing around murmuring when a girl approaches Shion and asks if he is free after today's class, as they have plans to visit a new place and talks together. Shion makes an excuse, saying that he is busy today, so maybe next time. The girl tells him to fix a date when he is free. Just as he is trying to come up with another excuse, a hand suddenly grabs him and pulls him away. When the girl snaps out of her daydream, she realizes Shion is no longer there. Shion finds himself in a dark room, and he comments that it's a rather extreme way to kidnap someone. Leah gestures for him to keep it down. He cheerfully asks her why she brought him to such a deserted place. Leah yells at him, saying that now is not the time for jokes and explains that she has found out who the guy from this morning is. Shion, confused, asks which guy she's talking about. She tells him it's the person they saw together this morning, the transfer student from Papalon. Shion finds this strange and asks more about him. Leah, however, insists that now is not the time for questions because their priority should be finding him and stopping any weird rumors from spreading. Girl is trying so hard not to get canceled. Shan tries to reassure her not to worry so much, but Leah can tell he has no idea what kind of situation they're really in. To Vern, the only option that seems right is to drop out entirely. Shion tells her that if people are going to find out, they'll just find out, so what's the point in going to such lengths? Leah suddenly asks him how he plans to explain their relationship to others. She knows they'll come up with disgusting rumors, and she will be the one who ends up hurt by it. Shion grows serious and asks her what exactly their relationship is. She shoots the question back at him, reminding him that they are master and maid. Shan agrees, saying that is correct. He gets up, saying she'll have to deal with the transfer student herself since she's the one who wanted to hide their relationship. She leaves confused about why Shion suddenly looked so hurt. She wonders to herself, was he upset that she called him her master and herself a maid? Or maybe he liked her. No, stop, this girl is actually top-tier delusional, but she quickly shakes that thought off, certain that it can't be the case. The first time she ever met him, the owner of the house introduced her to everyone, saying that this is Leah and that they can think of her as Shin's sister. The maids murmured among themselves, questioning why the head would bring in such a dirty child. They whispered that the head must be very generous to give a child like her such a status, even though he owes a great debt. Leah hears all of this. Then Shion comes to her, smiling, and says they should go play together. After Shion's father passed away from illness, the head of the family closed the doors of the mansion and turned away any visitors. Shan and Leah were the only two children in the huge mansion. To her, Shion is a friend, a family, and a precious person. And Shion, too, used to think the same. That was before she discovered that Shion was actually a great person from Papalon. Looking at him with his amazing skills, she can only wonder if this is the same Shion she once knew. She questions whether she is truly someone special in Shion's eyes. Just when she starts to believe that maybe she is, she reminds herself to let go of those useless thoughts. One day, as she is about to deliver tea to the head, she sees Shion and his mother talking. She asks him about Leah, and he replies that they are just as close as siblings, just as she, the head, had ordered him to say. That response makes Leah's heart sink. The head, concerned, says she will have to pay more attention to Leah in the future, since she knows Leah is a pitiful child. Leah's hands begin to tremble, but she does not let go of the tray, knowing she would be scolded for dropping such expensive, family special porcelain. There is a limit to how badly one can misjudge their own position. That's when she comes to understand her worth. As if Shan likes her, she thinks it's nonsense. She clenches her hand, thinking that Shion must believe she is helpless without him. So she decides to show him what she's really capable of. She walks up and greets Jen cheerfully. Jen gazes at her, and his stare makes her wonder why she feels this way. She feels like that she shouldn't grab his hand. Papalon is a bizarre building created by magicians with terrible taste. It is filled with forbidden mazes and secret rooms, and people go missing every year. There are many strange rumors too, a monster in the magic tower that takes sacrifices every full moon, couples who swear their love before a certain date will be together forever. But the most bizarre rumor of all is that somewhere in Papalon's forbidden area, a demon is sealed away. Despite all of this, these days Leah is enjoying an unexpectedly rosy academy life. She greets Jen, and Jen greets her in return. Na-wei smiles too. I thought he would be a grumpy lead. Jen is a scholarship student who appeared one day without warning. He tells her that he'll be in her act today as well. Usually expressionless, his bright smiles, reserved only for her, are somewhat unsettling. During class, even during the practical sessions and break times, they sit together and share food. Lee begins to feel that something is not quite right. Everything is going so smoothly, too smoothly. She originally approached Jen to get close and shut his mouth if needed, but everything is progressing far too easily. He seems like he'll be a difficult one. Jen gazes at her, and Leah almost chokes on her food. He calmly pats her back and tells her to eat slowly. He is very handsome, so Leah tells herself to get a grip before she ends up falling for him. People begin to notice the both of them together and start murmuring. Jen is clearly confused, wondering why everyone is staring at him. Leah tells him not to worry. They're only looking at him because the Papalon transfer exam is notoriously hard, and the last time a transfer student was accepted was 10 years ago. Leah sighs, thinking that scholarship students are supposed to keep a low profile, but in this situation, it can't be helped. With time, things will settle. Jun asks her why she even wants to be friends with him in the first place. He points out that she herself said scholarship students need to stay low profile, so wouldn't she draw more attention by being friends with a transfer student like him? Leah is about to come up with an excuse when another student enters the scene. The boy whose name is Canon sneers, saying he smells something fishy. He smirks at the sight of the two together and wonders aloud if they're dating. This boy has the worst personality. He touches the cookies with his shoes and says that eating off the floor suits commoners. He deserves my mom's slippers beating. He adds that he'll throw it away for them. But before he can, Jun picks up the cookies and eats them all in one go. Everyone is shocked. Leah finds Jun surprisingly greedy. Canon scoffs, claiming Jun must be possessed by a hungry demon to even eat food off the filthy ground. He goes on, saying that these scholarship students are already an eyesore due to their lack of qualifications. Then he adds that Shion and Leah make a perfect pair of cockroaches. I'm sorry, I'm not racist, but it was funny. This makes Jun furious. He starts to activate his magic. But Leah quickly stops him. She apologizes to Canon and says he misunderstood everything. She explains that the cookies were messy and Jun simply didn't want Canon to dirty his hands. She even offers to make new ones for him. Canon shouts that no one ever said he wanted her crappy cookies. Still, with no fighting and a bit of clever talking, Lee manages to make Canon leave. Jun finds her quite skilled and wonders if she's used to handling people like that. Lee replies that sometimes she is, and sometimes the situation is worse. This makes Jun angry. He points out that she's always submissive, and it's because of people like that she's living such a tiring life. Leah questions why being submissive is such a bad thing. Then she asks him if he even thought about the consequences of using magic earlier. She reminds him that Canon is from the noble family, one of the 7 great houses. If a mere scholarship student like him causes trouble with someone like that, he'll be kicked out of the academy. She stands up, saying that she just wants to graduate safely. She adds that she can tell there must be a reason he was transferred here too. Before leaving, she says that she's only trying to survive on this battlefield, so he can laugh at her if he wants. She leaves, wondering to herself whether she just tried to act cool for nothing. Jen gets up and takes out a blue necklace. He murmurs to it that it's not here either. A voice whispers in his ear that it's hidden somewhere in Papalon. And beside that, Leah can't escape from this place. Transfer Student Observation Diary, Week 2 Observer. Leah, the second week of observation begins, and Leah takes note of the transfer student once again. The first thing she notices, unsurprisingly, is that he is handsome, just like always. He is undoubtedly a feast to Leah's eyes, which have perhaps been elevated in standard thanks to Shion. Yes, I agree, he is actually hellish handsome. The next thing she observes is his clear indifference to others, which Leah considers a bit cringeworthy. Especially to someone like Jun, he doesn't like wasting time on unnecessary things, and it already seems like his interpersonal relationships are doomed. Leah starts to think that maybe Jun might talk to her, and that keeping quiet might have been pointless all this time. The third thing she observes is how he constantly wanders around the school. If you want to know why he roams around like a boy finding her corridor crush, do subscribe our channel. He roams all day, and at one point, he reaches an area and stretches out a hand to touch the wall. From behind, Leah quickly stops him, telling him that this place is off limits. She explains that if someone gets trapped in the barrier after entering a forbidden zone, they might get lost there forever. She warns him that he doesn't seem to know his way around, so he should be extra careful. Jun gazes at her for a while before letting out a fake laugh. He says it was a close call, that he almost lost his life, and thanks her for saving it. I like his sarcasm skills, but Leah, quietly to herself, thinks about what this guy's deal really is. Why is he wandering around like this? As if he wants to fail too. She asks him if they should go together. While they are talking, 2 boys come out, laughing about something. They make a passing comment that the girl was quite rebellious, even though she was bleeding. Worried, Leah quickly goes to check and sees that Annie's is there, bleeding. Leah reaches out, trying to touch her arm, and asks if she's fine. But Annie's pushes her away, saying she's fine and asking Leah to stay out of her business. Then she walks off. Jen is visibly pissed. If that's really what Annie's said to Leah, it clearly doesn't sit right with him. Seeing Leah's sad expression, Jen tells her that if she ever gets in trouble, she can talk to him. Confused by his sudden sympathy, Leah simply says thanks. The last thing Leah observes is that Jen, despite being frighteningly indifferent to others, is strangely kind to her. She sighs. It's quite overwhelming. If he's the type to get attached this easily, then it's almost too much. Except for wandering around, the only other thing he seems to do is stick to Leah all day. Jen even asks her what she's reading. Leah tells him she has an assignment for the curse class. He praises her for working so hard, which makes Leah wonder why he isn't doing any homework himself. Does he not have any? Jen then gazes at Leah and asks if she made the magic cards herself. She explains that they are special cards meant to store magical power, so someone like her, who has low magic ability, can use spells more easily. Jen notes that the card she's holding is empty and asks if it needs to be filled again to be usable. Leah says yes, and when he questions where she got so much magic power, she hesitantly replies that she asked an acquaintance for help. Jen seems to admire that answer. It sounds like her acquaintance must be pretty amazing. He charges the card and gives it back to her, telling her, almost like a riddle, that it's just for now and that he can recharge it again if she ever wants him to. Leah finds herself unable to understand him. She wonders what's wrong with this guy. Despite being indifferent to everyone else, he sticks close to her, smiles only at her, and is kind only to her. Leah can clearly see that Jen is giving her special treatment. She is confused. Why is he like this? She begins to wonder, does he like her? This girl delusional knows no end back at the manor. Leah is cleaning and also trying to do her homework. But because of Jen's handsome face, she is unable to concentrate. She starts daydreaming. What if he really does like her? What if he suddenly corners her against the wall and confesses? She shakes herself out of it, moving around restlessly. How could someone like him like someone like her? They've barely even known each other for a while. She scolds herself for letting her imagination run wild. It's so cringe. Trying to ground herself, she keeps cleaning, but suddenly, the stair she is using breaks. Leah loses her footing and begins to fall. Just then, she starts to float in midair. She looks around and sees Shion, clearly worried. He asks her what she was even doing. Shion scolds Leah, reminding her that he already told her not to do her homework while working. Leah snaps back, saying he can shut up because humans are bound to make mistakes. But Shion doesn't even think this qualifies as sometime. He uses a quick spell and helps her clean the entire room, clearing it all in an instant. Leah grabs him by the collar, demanding to know what he's doing. If he starts doing their tasks, the maids will lose their jobs. But Shion calmly pulls a chair over and tells her to sit down and focus on her work. Gentleman personality nice helpless, she accepts his offer and sits to do her assignments. Shion sits across from her watching. Irritated, she asks what he's doing just sitting there and looking at her. Doesn't he have anything else to do? Shion smugly flexes that he's free now, having finished all his work 5 minutes before coming here. Leah brings out her magic cards, needing Shion's help to recharge them. Seeing the large number of cards, he looks shocked. Leah offers to limit it and says he can just recharge the teleportation card if it's too much. But Shion weighs it off, saying he'll charge all of them. He starts chanting, charging all the cards at once with ease. Leah is genuinely impressed watching him. Suddenly, a maid enters the room and sees Leah. She tells her that if she's done with her current task, she can come to the kitchen. The maid notices Shion as well and adds that if Leah is with Shion, she can come later instead. Leah, however, says she'll go with the maid now. Shion playfully teases her, asking who will play with him if she leaves. Leah scoffs at his behavior, warning that if he keeps acting like this, she'll really lose her job. She then exits the room. Shion smiles as she leaves, but once the door closes behind her, his smile fades. He looks down at one of the cards in his hand and smiles quietly to himself. It seems like everything is starting to revolve around her now. The scene shifts to a classroom, where one of the professors announces that they will now be working with a curse called the Black Mambas. The professor instructs the students to imagine their curse's target screaming in terror as they watch their body change. She reminds them to stir carefully, adding that a curse becomes stronger the deeper the caster's grudge is, so it's important to have a mind free of guilt. Jen happily turns to Leah and asks if she needs help. But Leah refuses, turning her face away quickly. She simply can't look directly at him. His handsome face is too distracting. As she moves, she drops something on the ground. Worried, Jun asks if she's okay, but Leah, concerned that she might be swayed by his looks, tells him blushingly to stay away. She crouches down to collect her things herself. Annie's, standing nearby, sighs and helps flick the items back toward her. She hands Leah some of the scattered branches from a plant that had flown across the floor. Leah thanks her. But suddenly, a branch gets tossed toward them, thrown by Canon. He smirks and claims he was just trying to pick his branches. Leah thinks to herself that Canon never gets tired of his useless antics. Seeing Annie's gritting her teeth in frustration, Lee shouts out that there's a cockroach under the table. Terrified, Canon immediately jumps up, and the whole class bursts into laughter. Lee mocks him, joking about how the heir of one of the 7 great houses is still scared of cockroaches. Enraged, Canon throws the branch at her with such speed that it grazes her palm. Worried, Annie's rushes over and asks if she's all right. Leah tells her it's just a scratch. At the same time, Canon gets hit by a branch too, but this one came from Jun, who had thrown it while pretending to be picking something up too. Canon grabs Jun by the collar, fully aware that Jun did it on purpose. Like every drama addict girl, Leah wonders if the 2 boys are fighting because of her. Jun, growing agitated, lifts all the branches into the air and turns to Canon, demanding to know whose son he is, because after this, he won't be able to speak. He threatens to pierce all the floating branches into him and create holes. The professor, having had enough, steps in. With a calm but firm tone, she says that's enough and warns them that if they don't stop, she will turn both of them into cockroaches. Jun immediately apologizes and leaves. Lee runs after him and asks him to stop. He looks at her with a soft smile and asks what the matter is. She tells him she's grateful for what he did for her back there, but she assures him he won't have to do it from now on. She asks him not to get involved with Canon anymore. Jun, with a curious tone, asks if she's getting involved with Canon because of Annie's. Lee explains that she and Annie's go way back. She knows Jun is just trying to help them, but she insists that his interference will only make things worse. She tells him that she will figure it out herself and he doesn't have to meddle anymore. Jun takes her hand and gently places a cloth over her wound. Leah, flustered, asks what he's doing, but Jun tells her to stay quiet. He uses magic and heals her wound, though he mentions that while he's healed it for now, she still needs to apply ointment or it will leave a scar. As he leaves, Leah stands there, blushing, wondering if he's out of his mind. Outside, Jun stops at a fountain to clean his own wound. As he looks at it, the sight reminds him of the hateful red face of Leah. Suddenly, a bird appears and asks for a report. Jun gets annoyed, asking why the bird came all the way here when all the eyes are watching them. The bird reassures him that it'll be fine and asks for the report. Jun says everything is going according to the plan. He explains that Leah is more cautious than they thought, and it might take some time, but he doesn't foresee any problems yet. The bird warns Jun to be careful and reminds him that Leah must not know anything. Jun remains confident, saying there won't be a chance for her to find out. But the bird adds that Leah is more clever than she looks, and they need to use her to find out where the demon body sleeps in Papalon. They swear on the name of their kind, they are demon hunters. Back at the manor, Leah is lying on her bed. She notices that there's no scar on her palm. She finds it amazing that Jun can use healing magic, since only a few at the academy can do that. She wonders where he might have learned it before coming to the academy. Suddenly, the scene where he almost touches her hand with his lips flashes in her mind, and she gets flustered again. She thinks that even though he did it for healing, grabbing someone's hand isn't something normal. She becomes convinced that he must like her. Just then, a maid enters and apologizes for disturbing her. She asks Leah if she could deliver a brooch to Shion. The maid even tries to bribe her by saying there's a cherry pie for her too. All excited, Lee goes to Shin's room to give him the brooch. Her eyes widen when she sees Shion all dressed up. She asks him what he's doing, and the butler informs her that this is Shion's birthday banquet attire and asks her if it suits him well. Among the 7 great houses, the most renowned is undoubtedly the Thorn family. They are the descendants of Sioso, the most powerful archmage in history. Sioso was the hero of Vanadium who defeated the Demon King. The magic he unleashed during that final battle was so immense that even now, 300 years later, snow continues to fall endlessly in the northern mountains where that clash took place. No mage has ever surpassed him, and now, standing here dressed in formal attire, Shen looks every bit like his legendary ancestor. Leah watches him, her eyes landing on his gloves, which appear quite ordinary to her. Shion then asks her for help with his brooch. She steps forward to assist, but her fingers fumble and she fails to secure it. Shion teases her, asking if she's nervous. They are so cute together, giggling. Lee hits him lightly, cursing and calling him disgusting. Finally, she asks why he's dressed up so extravagantly. Surely the head of the family isn't throwing a birthday party just for him. Shion replies that while that's what everyone says, he finds the whole affair a hassle. The butler chimes in, reminding him not to speak that way. This is the first party the Thorn House has hosted in 7 years, and it's also the first time guests have been welcomed since Shan's father passed away. Everyone has high expectations, and the entire town is buzzing. It's only natural that the event be grand. After all, it's Shan's first formal introduction to society. Leah, meanwhile, thinks to herself that she's seen this outfit somewhere before. A maid nearby informs her that it's the uniform of the Magic Knights. After graduation, Shion will be joining them. The Magic Knights, Vanadium's highest order of magical warriors, are led by the Thorn family. Becoming a Magic Knight is the highest honor for any mage. It's a path only the elite at Papalon can dream of taking. For someone like Shion, it seems almost too easy. Shen picks up a flower and gently places it in Leah's hair. He asks what she's staring at and whether she wants to wear the flower. Leah quickly declines. Shen asks why not, adding that he thinks it would suit her. Leah responds that it's not the flower that's pretty, it's him. Later that night, Leah lies in bed, taking out the money she's managed to save so far. She knows she still has a long way to go. She wonders whether she should really waste any of it on Shan's birthday. With a sigh, she questions why the head of the family suddenly arranged such a big celebration. Wouldn't it have been better if they just kept things the way they always had? A knock sounds at her door. Shion's voice follows, announcing his entrance before opening it. He's holding a cherry pie. Leah finds it strange, he's not sneaking bites. Shion tells her that sneaking bites is only fun when it's the last piece. He sits on her bed and asks if something feels off. Leah assures him that she's fine. His eyes fall on a chessboard nearby, and he suggests they play a game. Leah proposes they add a wager. Curious, Shion asks what they'd be betting on. Leah suggests doing each other's homework. Shion laughs, saying that's unfair. If he loses, she'll have to do his homework, and he'll end up failing. Leah shouts back that she's actually good at theory, and even if he fails one assignment, he'll still be at the top. An intense match follows, and Leah wins. Shion stares at the board, baffled by how he can never seem to beat her at chess. Leah teases him, saying he can try again in the next 10 years, maybe with that overwhelming beauty aura of his. Shion responds that 10 years seems too far. By then, he'll be even more amazing and wonders aloud if she'll be able to handle it. Leah laughs, asking just how much more amazing he wants to become. She tells him he should at least let her win in chess. But her laughter fades as she admits that's exactly why she wants to leave this mansion. Shion will become the head of the Thorn family and later a Magic Knight, while she'll still be cleaning his room. She doesn't want that. She believes that once she earns her diploma, she'll be able to find work somewhere, maybe in the countryside or even across the border in another country. Anywhere far enough from Shion, so she doesn't have to constantly compare herself and feel inferior. The scene shifts. Annie's is slammed to the ground by Canon. He glares down at her, saying that she still doesn't understand her place. After everything he's done for her, she still acts like this? Didn't he tell her not to hang around Leah? Annie's pleads, insisting she didn't hang out with Leah, they just happened to bump into each other. She begs him to stop bullying her, but Canon, growing angrier, pushes her down again. He spits out that people like her don't know their place, and now even she's starting to interfere. He warns her that his father has already complained that her family's wine doesn't taste the same anymore. They might cut off business entirely. Annie's begs him not to do that. Canon presses his foot onto her hand, saying that she should have known better. If she truly knows her place, she should act like it. Then, in a cold voice, he tells her that, for the sake of their friendship, he'll need her help.